Matt, I'm so excited about my Twin Takes topic today. It's gossipy. It's
This is
super
so unusual.
gossipy.
This is
I
not what
know.
I'm used to in Twin Takes.
So, Matt, have you heard the rumors about 1 Hour Church?
Looking for a cool, delicious way to beat the summer heat? Try Postman's refreshing cold beverages. Enjoy a creamy Postman frappe made with milk and just the right touch of sweetener for a smooth, energizing treat. Or dive into a rich Postman milkshake, perfect for those sunny days when you want something tasty and satisfying. Postum gives you that delightful caffeine-free boost with every sip. This summer, chill out with Postum. Refreshment you can feel good about.
Hello and welcome to This Week in Mormons. You're thinking to yourself, wait, I just listened to Matt and Melissa 2 weeks ago. Do we really get to hear from Matt and Melissa again? And the answer is, you betcha.
You are so lucky.
You betcha. This month, we're going to record every other week, and we're quite excited about it.
Yeah, we love to do this.
I think I've mentioned this before. This is the only time when I interact with my sister. So
Right.
I'm happy to record more often because it means I get to talk to my sister a little more often.
Yeah, if we don't record, we don't talk to each other. Matt,
Well,
what's been happening in your world? I bet the listeners would love some updates. We haven't done much chatter lately.
right. My wife and I are on a break from school.
Oh,
I
not
I
from
know.
each other. It felt like you were saying, like, we're on a break from each other. And I was like, this is big news. I'm glad we're recording.
My wife has been working as a professor at BYU Idaho. She's been teaching math. And I'm just going to say she works a lot harder than I do.
Yep.
And all of my colleagues are like, wow, Matt, you're working more than you've ever worked before. And I'm like, well, it's because my wife works here now and she's here all the time. And so, anyhow, I feel like I've been working a lot and she's definitely been working a lot. So we needed a little break. So we flew to Boston, Massachusetts. We
Oh,
rented a car. We drove up the coast of Maine and looked at lighthouses and ocean and all that stuff. We spent the night in Portland, Maine. Then we woke up and drove from Maine to Quebec City, Canada.
wow.
Yeah, it was about a 5-hour drive. We stopped along the way. There's the largest waterfall in Maine was along the side of the road, so we stopped there and hiked to the waterfall. There was a swinging bridge in the city that we went through, so we stopped and walked on the swinging bridge. We saw Quebec City, which is a beautiful place. If our listeners haven't been there, you got to check Quebec City out. It's just beautiful.
Huh.
And then we went to Montreal, Canada. We spent 2 days in Montreal. And then we went down to Vermont, across the Canadian border. And then we spent about a week in Vermont in the mountains. We went on a bike ride. We rented bikes and rode out to Lake Champlain, which is a huge lake. It's probably twice the size of Lake Tahoe, twice the size of Lake Powell, probably.
Uh-huh. Wow.
And there's a little causeway you can ride out into the. So we were like, it was just a little path we were on, and Lake Champlain on both sides of us. It was amazing. And then drove back to Boston and then flew home. It was so much fun.
That sounds really fun. It does sound like a lot of driving, a lot of exploring.
For me, not a lot of driving, right? There
Yeah,
was no
not for
day that
you.
was more than 5 hours of driving.
So long. We're
uh,
different people, but that sounds fun. It does really indicate to me that you are embracing your empty nester lifestyle because
yeah,
you became
I
an
really
empty
am.
nester.
Yeah. My youngest son went on his mission in the 1st of July. And Sandra always complains that when we drive, we don't just stop and do stuff because I'm really focused when I drive. But this trip was about her. And so we stopped and did stuff along the way. If she was like, let's see more about this, then we would stop and see more about whatever.
That sounds great.
Yeah, I'd never been to those New England states before. So it was
Yeah.
fun. We did a lot of hiking because that's her thing. She likes to
Uh-huh.
hike. And
Yeah.
and that was fine. I mean, it's a lot of humidity and bugs. Like it's not my kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'd rather sit in a pool, but we did that too. We sat in the pool
Did
too.
you go to church while you were out there?
Yeah, so Montreal is French speaking, so we found an English speaking ward and it was so cool, Melissa. Like
Yeah?
There were 2 people in elders quorum that I sat next to that were there for their first time ever. And again, I think I say this every time I go someplace, but the person that was speaking was a senior missionary. He said that the Montreal mission had a record number of baptisms the last year. Like every
Wow.
place I go visit is having a record number of baptisms. There's like people coming into the churches. Uh, Again, it's English speaking in a French speaking place. So the investigators, friends, I think they call them now, they seem to be immigrants from African countries. I just based on their names, one of them was named Barak and one of them was named, I can't remember his name, but it just sort of, I got the sense that there's a lot of immigrants that are joining the church. So people will be refugees or immigrants in other places, and then they come to our
Yeah.
church and join our church.
Matt, I'm reading between the lines. I hear what you're saying. Former President Barack Obama is investigating the church.
Yeah, it
I'm
was
reading
actually,
between the lines. Let's
it,
spread that rumor.
yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
It's so fun to me, Melissa, to see what a global church we're a part of.
Mhm.
And in Montreal, the man teaching elders quorum was from a Latin American country, and Spanish is his native language, but he's teaching it in English because that's where he lives. And then you have people from Africa that are there speaking. Then you have the French speaking people who, I don't know why they came to the English speaking ward, probably to help us out and make us feel welcome or something like that. But it was so cool. Like, we have such a global church.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad you got to experience all that.
Yeah, it was fun. Uh,
Good.
you're back to work, right, Melissa?
My beautiful, wonderful teacher summer is over.
I'm
It's over.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You know what? I know it's so rude to complain about having to go back to work after having 2 months off. I get it. I get it. And I'm not complaining. I love my job and I'm happy to be back at work, but man, it was a good summer. It was a
Yeah.
good break. Yeah.
What was the best lake you took your boat to?
We only took our boat to 2 lakes, to Bear Lake and to Flaming Gorge. And
Well,
Flaming Gorge is my favorite.
don't forget about the reservoir.
Hiram Dam, you're correct. We did take it to Hiram Dam.
And
Yeah.
did you not go to Island Park?
Not with the boat. No.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Flaming Gorge, and did you say Lake Powell?
Bear Lake.
Oh, Bear Lake.
Mhm.
And of those two, which is better?
Flaming Gorge. I love Flaming Gorge. It's a great lake. Yeah, we
Because you
went there
can,
3 times this summer.
do you jump off the rocks when you're there?
Yeah, there's a lot of jumping off things. Sure.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned, Melissa, they do this in Vermont. They have these rivers, and then there's these big rocks, and the river like goes down in this thing, and they'll climb up on these rocks and jump into the river from the rocks.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
That scares me. I don't know how people do it. Like, how do you not be afraid you're gonna hit something in the water unexpected?
Well, you check it out first. Make
I
sure
don't
it's deep enough. There's no rocks.
I don't trust
Yeah.
anything like that. Yeah, I
Okay.
could
That's
never.
all right.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a chicken. Hey, Melissa, somebody wrote into the mailbag, wrote
Yeah.
us an email. This is oftentimes the things we read are comments on YouTube, but somebody took the time. I never thought that this would feel like an old school way of doing things, but they took the time to write an email
Uh-huh.
to contact at thisweekinmormons.com. And I thought it was a delightful email message,
Oh,
but
good. Okay, read it to us.
I'll just share the highlights. So the
Okay.
first, Mike Lee is insert a variety of negative terms here. He exemplifies everything a church member shouldn't be and revels in it.
It's a
Um,
it's a popular opinion. As
I,
is the complete opposite is also a popular opinion.
I have to admit, and I study political science, Melissa, I am
Uh-huh.
surprised by how polarizing Mike Lee is. There's
Yeah.
nobody that you say, what do you think about Mike Lee? And they're sort of like, I don't know. I haven't really thought about him that
It's a good
much.
point.
People have strong feelings one way or the other with Mike Lee.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good point. Okay.
Um, I bet his mother loves him. I bet his mother
You
has.
know what? I bet she does. I bet she does.
Okay. Number 2. I don't know, Melissa. I don't know if I can read comments where they praise you, but I'm going to give it my best shot.
Okay, try.
Melissa's comment about younger people or people in general is spot on. My gay child, my trans child, my straight child, my non-binary child all have no place in the church as it currently stands because we as a church do not welcome them fully with open arms. All visitors are not welcome. If you are too different, Bishop/Ward Roulette acknowledged. I grew up in the church, loved the church. I still love the church, but no longer support it because it has become anti my family whom I love. Do I expect that to change? No, sadly, not really anymore, but I wish it would. The church is losing a good part of the rising generation due to stances that continue to alienate those who would love to be at church. Why go if I why go if I can't go to the temple with the person that I love? Yeah,
Well
thanks.
thought
Thanks,
out.
Chris.
Really, yeah, really nicely said, Chris. Yeah, I think your experience is not uncommon. And it's something that me and Matt, when we talk only here on this podcast, we do talk a lot about and think a lot about. Because we also love this church and we want everyone to be not just be welcome, but to feel welcome and to know that they belong. So yeah, it's a difficult circumstance. Yeah.
There's this idea that's been percolating in my mind, Melissa.
Oh, good, good, good.
And it's a little bit based on experiences I have when I travel to other wards and the
Hmm.
experiences I have when I'm in those other wards. I feel like we talk about the church as if it's like this institution because it is this institution. But in many ways, the church is really just you and me and everyone who goes to church.
Okay.
And how I feel at church when I was in Montreal is 100% about the people who were in the church when I visited Montreal and nothing at all with the doctrine of the church. And I feel like if we want the church to be a more welcoming place for other people, then we have to make it that ourselves. We have to
Yeah.
reach out and invite and love and make people feel welcome. Like sometimes I go to church in Utah and Idaho and I don't feel welcome. It's not like I don't feel like they want me there, but I don't feel welcome. But when I go to other places, they welcome me. They're like, "We're so happy you came. Please tell us more about it." Like they genuinely legitimately want me there and make me feel that. And I don't do a very good job of doing that in my own ward, making other people feel that same way.
Yeah. I hear you. I think something that I've really tried to teach my kids, but that it's hard for me to exemplify, is to be the person who raises their hand and says, "Hey, maybe there's another way of looking at this because I'm looking around and seeing that people around me by the comment that was made are feeling uncomfortable or feeling unwelcome." And to just to be the person who continues to go to church so that there's somebody in that class in that building that is being the person who says, wait, just 1 minute, there's another perspective on this. So that nobody sits there feeling like I'm all alone, I'm the only person that thinks this way. But it's hard because if you don't feel welcome, you don't feel like you should go to church. But that's actually who needs to be at church, is those people. We need those people there so that everyone else who's feeling that same way recognizes, like, oh, no, I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
And then we can love each other. We can't love each other if we're not there. But it can be, I understand. I've had those feelings too, where it's really difficult and uncomfortable to be at church.
Yeah.
So,
But also to Chris's point, because I don't want to make anyone feel like I'm telling them what they should do. But
right.
I recently we went to the temple with my son before he went on his mission, and my daughter was there and my wife was there and a lot of my family was there. And it was a beautiful, wonderful experience just being
Hmm.
able to be in the temple with my family. And so I can totally understand why somebody who feels like the church is telling them you can't have that experience, I could totally understand why they would feel not wanted at church
Hmm.
because it is painful. It's nothing I've experienced personally, and I'm really terrible at empathy, but I do understand that it would be painful for people to
Hmm.
feel unwanted at church. And I know that I sometimes am guilty of making people feel unwanted at church. So sorry that some people feel that way, but I think we could all do better.
Yeah, I think we're all going to work on it. And again, I think just sometimes just saying what you had to say, Chris, just saying it is helpful. Like hearing people's stories is really important. It helps build that empathy that Matt lacks so much of.
I think my wife says I have sympathy. If I've experienced something, I can feel sympathy for somebody else. But if I haven't experienced it myself, I'm terrible at trying to think about how a person might feel.
Yeah,
So she says I have sympathy, but not empathy. So sorry,
she's
everybody.
always right. I know that about her.
Hey, Melissa, let's go to Twim Takes. Now,
Matt,
this
I
sounds
am
like it's
so
something that Twim
excited.
is taking away from you, but it's not.
No,
It's not us taking something. It's us giving something to you.
it's our take.
We stand on a soapbox
Soapbox.
and we
Yeah.
deliver our takes.
Matt, I'm so excited about my Twin Takes topic today. It's gossipy. It's
This is
super
so unusual.
gossipy.
This is
I
not what
know.
I'm used to in Twin Takes.
So, Matt, have you heard the rumors about 1 hour church?
I have not heard this rumor.
You haven't heard this rumor?
1 hour church, like
Yeah.
on Christmas and Easter, right? We have church for one
No,
hour.
church will only be 1 hour long, according to this rumor.
This is like a hope. This is somebody prayed for this, and then somebody
Okay.
else heard it and thinks it's
Matt,
real.
you're responding exactly how I did the first time I heard this rumor, but I'm going to dig deep here a little bit. I've heard this rumor 3 times now from 3 different places, and I'm a believer. Are you ready
Okay,
for this?
is this the guy on the YouTube channel that has a
No.
spreadsheet that?
I first heard about this from a friend at work,
Okay,
and this
okay,
friend at work is not active in the church. Okay. She
okay.
is LDS,
We're
but she's
getting
not active in the church. So I was like, how would you be in the know about anything like this?
we're getting closer and closer to the brethren.
Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm getting there. Okay. And so I dismissed it like you did. First of all, like, why would we have 1 hour church? We literally
Yeah,
just jumped to 2 hour church, and it's been a fantastic change. But like, what would be the point of 1 hour church, right?
yeah.
The same week, a few days later, I heard it from a friend in another city, a city that I don't live in. And he had recently been called to be Sunday school president in his ward. And he said he was given some instructions that Sunday school might be changing, but that he wasn't supposed to really say more about it. But he said, but you've heard the rumor, right? And I said, wait, does this have to do with the 1 hour church rumor? And he said, yes. Are you feeling like this is gossipy enough yet?
Yeah, yeah, we're still getting further away, I think, from the
Here we
brethren, but
go. Here's the big one. Here's the big one. So then I had a little family gathering with extended family. And one of my husband's cousins said, oh, yeah, our ward is one of the pilot wards for 1 hour church.
stop.
She
You know,
lives, listen to me, Matt. She lives in Idaho,
uh-huh.
and they've been piloting it, and she had all the details. And it's been going on for several months.
Melissa, the
Mm-hmm.
2 hour church rumor, I heard
Mm-hmm.
the 2 hour church rumor a good 15 years before they made that change. And I
Well, were
heard
they
all
doing a
about,
pilot
yes,
program?
yes, I heard all
No.
about the pilot programs going on all throughout the church.
Okay, well, Matt, I would like you to believe my rumor so we can have a real conversation about this, okay?
Okay.
First of all, this is what most people's reaction has been. Okay, well, if that is going to happen, if 1 hour church is going to happen, they better hurry and make it happen before President Nelson dies. Because if it's
What?
his pilot program and he's the one who wants it to happen, and then he passes away, the next president of the church probably isn't going to follow through with this. What's
I'm
your thought on that?
almost positive this is not a President Nelson driven thing. This is from, if it's happening and they're doing pilot programs,
Yeah,
then it's not President Nelson driving it. Because what happened when he wanted a medical school at BYU? He
he
just
got
made
one.
That's right. He didn't do a pilot program. He didn't talk to anybody. He didn't ask anybody what they thought. He just did it. So that's why I don't
Matt,
think it'd be a President Nelson thing.
but listen. Okay, so I hear what you're saying. I do hear what you're saying. But to have something like this happen in the church, you've got to have coordination on many levels. The prophet has obviously got to be involved, but he's also got to be working with the all of the general presidencies of all of the auxiliaries to be making a pilot program happen. So, of course it's his plan.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
That's
Now,
interesting.
listen, since I heard this rumor, I've sat through 2 sacrament meetings. And can I tell you this? I don't think there's any reason that we need to have a long sacrament meeting. Now, according to the pilot program, and again, so gossipy, but I'm thrilled to be able to share it here with you. Okay. Sacrament meeting is 15 to 20 minutes and it consists of singing and the sacrament, period. There are
Uh-huh.
no speakers. And Matt,
Uh-huh.
as I've been sitting in sacrament meeting the last 2 Sundays, this rumor swirling about in my head, I've been thinking, yeah, I could do without these talks. Yep.
But what
Yep.
about the primary program, Melissa? The primary program is like the best thing ever.
Right? Or what about like when the bishop has an important message he needs to share with the ward? Like, I agree. I've thought about things that are weird. Or what about testimony meeting? Okay. But Matt, you will admit that sometimes listening to 3 speakers is torture. Am I right?
3, we have 4 speakers, and
Okay.
our sacrament like takes 25 minutes just to do the sacrament. We have
Mm-hmm.
like 4 deacons passing the sacrament to
Yeah.
like over 100 people. And I'm like, there has to be a more efficient way to do this. But I think our bishop doesn't want to hear any more talks. He wants to have a sit in silence with the sacrament for a long time. And then
Yeah.
no long talks, because we legit have at least 3 adult speakers every week, and then 1 or 2 youth speakers. We have
Yeah.
so many speakers.
I will say this. My first initial pushback was our church is known for having its people speak, right? Like
Hmm.
we take great pride in the fact that young people know how to write and present a talk because they've done it growing up in our church.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that there is something to be gained personally from writing a talk, but man, Matt, I could be done with it. Now, okay, I don't know what happens for the rest of the hour. I've been told in the pilot program that every like third or fourth Sunday is a testimony Sunday. And so instead of having testimony meeting, you break into smaller groups and the youth have a testimony meeting and the adults have a testimony meeting, or a group of adults and another group of adults. So there are testimonies, but not as a part of sacrament meeting, as a separate meeting. And then, yeah, we have Relief Society, we have Sunday school. Matt, this solves so many problems.
Hmm. I don't
Matt's
know.
not in.
Um, I For me, the amount of time I spend in church is so irrelevant. It doesn't even matter to me. I could
Yeah,
spend 2 hours at church, 3 hours at church, 1 hour at church. It doesn't even make a difference to me.
I'll be
Time goes
honest.
by so fast for me.
I agree to some extent, but do you not feel like the hour long Sunday school and the hour long Relief Society are painfully long?
Well, I teach in primary right now, so I really, really
Oh,
enjoy
so you haven't
that.
had that. Yeah.
I love the second hour. I don't
Yeah.
like going to elders quorum very much, or Sunday school. I don't like that
It's
very
because
much.
they're so long. Is so long. And I swear a half of it is turn and pair and share, or read this as a group and then report back. Like, I feel like we're
Mm,
wasting time in
mm,
like trying to fill things.
hmm.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I wish I had more thoughts for you, Melissa, but I really enjoy that you're sharing this rumor.
Yeah, I really don't care what your thoughts are. I just want you to propagate the rumor. And I want you to say, kind of, you know how we bet when we say over under?
Hmm.
I want you to say
Over
by,
5 years.
no, by general conference,
Oh,
by October.
my over under would be 5 years, and I would take the over.
You would say it's over 5 years.
Yeah, yeah.
But Matt, look, we could build so many fewer buildings because now we can fit a lot more people into a building. My YSA ward, I've been in my ward just a little over 2 years. We have changed buildings 8 times because there's nowhere to put us. We just keep getting shoved around and shoved around. Like that would solve
Yeah.
that problem. Now, I
Well,
don't
and if
like the
all of those
social aspect. Yeah,
if
go
all
ahead.
those classrooms could be turned into office space, so they're all just bishops' offices, right?
Yeah,
Because that's a challenge, that we don't have enough office space for all of these bishops. And
kind
but I
of.
think that that's a Utah problem. I don't think that's a
Yeah.
global problem.
Yeah. I mean, I do I like that we have linger longers. Even my not YSA ward has linger longers a couple of times a month. And I like that we have opportunities for people to engage socially. And I don't know if going to 1 hour church, limits that even more. Does it limit the number of callings that we have? Like the need for so many callings? I don't know. It's a thought
I
experiment.
I believe President Hinckley was right when he said that every new member needs a calling, but I
Mhm.
don't actually think that that means that every member needs a calling. I
Mhm.
think that there are
Okay.
a lot of members that could do without a calling, and they'd be just fine.
Interesting. Okay. Well, spread the rumor and keep your ears out for it.
I don't know if the man with the spreadsheet watches our show, but if you do, I don't know your name even, but
But
this would be
Matt watches
awesome.
your YouTube channel and you're the man with the spreadsheet.
Only occasionally, like sometimes I'm like I should do something church related, but I don't feel super spiritual. Hey, there's the man with the spreadsheet. He's going to make a prediction of some kind.
Okay.
But if he's listening, I think you could add this to your second coming sort of stuff. But I also know we have listeners who are in the know. So if you're in the know, let us
Yeah.
know. Email us. If Melissa is saying something that's completely false, we would love to correct that the next time we record in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So let us know. Okay, my twin take is a little bit different. There's a YouTube video out. It just came out a couple days ago. It's called An Inconvenient Faith. It's a
Okay.
YouTube channel. And it's a video series that tackles topics like race in the priesthood, polygamy, LGBTQ issues in the church, the authenticity of the Book of Mormon. And it has people like Jeremy Reynolds, who was the author of the CES letter. And it has John DeLynn. He's on there. And then it has some scholars, right? So It's got perspectives from both faithful Latter-day Saints who know the history and from
Mhm.
people who learned about the history and it caused them to question the church and to leave the church. And initially when the video channel launched, it had no information about who it was that was creating these videos. And the
Mhm.
first, like all the comments were like, you need to tell us who you are because we can't decide what we think about this without knowing who you are, who's
As
funding
a
this, who's
creator.
paying for this. Yeah,
Okay,
we
can
want
I
to,
can I pause you for just a minute?
yeah.
Would you say that the videos are faith affirming or that they're negative about the
Well, so
church?
I've watched 4 of them now, but I don't want to answer that question yet. I want to
Okay.
first answer this question because people want this is a question people want to know, right? Before they start consuming media,
Mhm.
especially about the church, they want to know the source of it.
Mhm.
And then eventually the creator was like, okay, I understand. He's like, I actually wanted to create this and just let it stand on its own and let people make their own judgments without knowing who I am and what I was doing. And so, but I decided that, okay, that's fine. People need to know. So then the creator told us who they were. But
Okay.
this is the thing I want to talk about. Do you think that we should really all want to know who it is before we consume the content? Because I was on that list. I was like, is it worth my time to watch it if I don't know who it is and what they're doing?
Yeah. I
Like,
feel
do you
both
have an
ways.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, okay, because as part of my job in teaching high school, I'm in charge of teaching how to gather sources and how to do research and how to get yourself outside of that filter bubble that you're in, where you only get the kind of media that agrees with you, right? And so I think like as part of being a responsible consumer of information, it is a good idea to research the author of that information. I think that's smart.
Hmm.
However, to take the complete opposite side, I think that we like to assign ourselves as an in group with some people or an out group with some people, right? Like if
Hmm.
President Trump, if I dislike him, it doesn't matter what his policy is or how he frames it or what. If I'm against President Trump, I have to be against every single thing that he stands for. Like that's kind of the way that we look at people. And then we cancel people or we cancel companies based on one action or something like that. I don't like that mentality. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like you can't have it both ways.
Yeah.
So, but I see both ways.
I think for me, it was I need to know how I'm going to be when I watch it. Am I going to be defensive or
Or
am I going to be,
critical.
or am
Yeah.
I going to be accepting? And that's the
Interesting.
thing that's really sort of this is what I kind of like about this film series. You actually could take the information either way because I think that the creator is trying to be authentic and honest with both perspectives. But it's clear that the person, his name is Robert Reynolds, and he wrote a book with Deseret Book called Unstuck. It is
Oh, yeah,
clear
I
that
know him.
yeah, the framing of it all is faith affirming.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, it's just a funny
Do
thing, right?
you do you know Robert Reynolds? Have you read that book, Unstuck?
No.
I've had it in my library for I think about 3 years. It's a great book. It's really small, like around 100 pages. It's an easy read, but it's a really really good book and it talks about how a lot of people we have like he calls it a favorite sin. So we have something that we do and then we try to stop and then we repent of, but it turns out we're going to do it again, right? That kind of a thought. We're all like this in certain aspects. And it's an atonement approach to kind of breaking that cycle. But he talks about a lot of different things in there too. The thing about Robert Reynolds that I realized when I read that book is that he is actually kind of famous.
Oh.
So he manages for his day job. He's a manager of bands, like
Mhm.
really big bands. He manages the Killers, Brandon Flowers. He also manages Imagine Dragons. Imagine Dragons lead singer Dan Reynolds is his brother.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Because in this video series, there's a lot from Brandon Flowers. I'm like,
Okay,
really?
yeah,
The lead
yeah.
singer of the Killers is sitting down talking about his faith? That's unusual.
Yeah. So he's a business manager for all of but not just for LDS groups, like
Uh-huh.
obviously. But like that's his job and he's really good at it. But when you say Robert Reynolds, this video series makes so much more sense to me because I know who he is, I understand that he has people in his family, for example, Dan Reynolds,
Mhm.
who have left the church, right? But still like the church culturally and still are connected to it through family. So when I see, oh, it's Robert Reynolds, I'm like, oh, okay. Well, his approach is balanced because he's got people in his life that he loves that are in the midst of making these kinds of decisions, that are in the
Yeah.
midst of struggling with these kinds of things. And he himself, he's super faithful.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean that makes more sense to
It's
me.
clear to me that the video series is designed to talk about the issues in the church that people struggle with, in an honest and open way to create an opportunity for dialogue. Because I
Yeah.
think, based on what I was seeing in the video, some people feel like if they go to a seminary teacher or a CES leader, that they don't necessarily get the answers to their questions. And so
Yeah.
he's just like, let's hear what everybody who's like talking about this says. Obviously, you can't get everybody who's talking about it, but let's get some of the big hitters of people that are talking about this. Let's hear what they say, and we'll just put it out there for people to digest on their own.
I think that's great. I think we need that.
Yeah.
In fact, I say, well done, Brother Reynolds. Yeah,
Yeah, good job.
we will link to it in the show notes
Yeah,
so
there's a link in
viewers
the
can
show
check it
notes.
out. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect, perfect. Okay, well, Matt, well done on your twin takes.
Thank
Are
you.
you ready
Thank you.
for quick clips?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, a mission leader in Mexico City, one of the Mexico City missions, was actually shot at. Somebody broke into his home at 2 a.m. and attempted burglary, and he got shot.
That's
And
horrible.
I know he's been released from the hospital now. He was just in the hospital for a couple of days. Nobody else was injured. His wife wasn't injured, but yeah, kind of a scary, shocking story, honestly.
Yeah.
They're excited to finish their mission. They're not like saying, get me out. This was, too traumatizing, but I'm sure it was traumatizing.
Yeah. I think I told you that I'm working on that book where people share stories about how they feel the Holy Ghost in their lives.
Yeah.
And a couple of people that were interviewed for that served as mission presidents. And it really opened my eyes as to how difficult a calling it is to be a mission president. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it sounds maybe like being an ambassador or whatever, where you get to go live in some foreign country or whatever. But oh my
Yeah.
goodness, it's like a spiritually taxing calling and a mentally taxing calling. And
Huh.
to add on to it, like getting shot in your home, good for them that it hasn't shaken their faith at all. Because
Yeah.
it's a tough calling. We need to do
Yeah.
more to show gratitude to mission presidents and their wives.
That's a great take, Matt. What about there was another person who got shot at who's a member of our church, and he's famous, Brother Reed, Brother Andy Reed.
Somebody shot at Andy Reid.
Mm-hmm. He was in
Oh,
his office in the Chiefs building,
uh huh.
and somebody shot. Okay, I'm going to tell you exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. He was inside the office all by himself. He was the only one there. Um, a bullet was fired from outside the building and broke through the glass and lodged in the wall between his bathroom and the door to his office. So it kind
Wow.
of broke the window going into his office. They've since
Wow.
replaced it with bulletproof glass. He
Wow.
wasn't specifically targeted. Like, it wasn't like somebody was going after Andy Reid specifically. I think in both of these instances, they kind of live in dangerous places. And this is a result of, um,
Kansas City is not a dangerous place.
yes,
There's
it is,
probably
Matt.
they're probably hunting for deer or something like that, and they
Okay.
miss.
All right.
Do you know what I
Well,
learned about Andy Reid? I
what?
listened to the Taylor Swift interview on the Kelsey Brothers
Wasn't it
podcast.
so good?
Yeah, it was
She
a lot of
brought up
fun.
Andy Reid.
But her dad and he are pals.
Yeah, they're good
That
friends.
Yeah, that she's not even into football, but she's like, Andy likes Travis Kelsey. Well, if Andy likes Travis, he must be a good guy.
I thought it was a really fun shout out to Andy Reid in that whole podcast. Yeah.
Yeah,
And guess what I did learn? He's just a guy who's living his life and doing his job, and he's a public figure and he's out there. But man, he lives his religion every single day, and
yeah,
people notice. Taylor Swift
yeah,
noticed.
yeah,
I
yeah.
hope
He's a
she
good
has
guy.
a song about him in her new album.
The
Like,
Andy anthem.
the Andy
Everyone
anthem.
everyone
Yeah.
thinks it's about the doll in Toy Story, but really it's about Andy Reid. Okay, my quick clip is about there's a man in Cache Valley who is auctioning off his first edition of the Book of Mormon, a copy from the first edition of the Book of Mormon. The opening bid was set at 60,000, but somebody's already placed a bid of $82,000.
Wow.
I know, I kind of
How
want to
how
buy
does he
it.
own it? How do you think he owns it?
It's
Passed
been
down?
passed down in the family. Yeah.
Huh.
But I don't
Is
have
it
$82,000.
how do
But
you
it would be
auction it?
fun.
Is it just on KSL.com?
That's
Facebook
it's on
Marketplace?
eBay. He went to some. There's like people that auction valuable things. He went.
Huh.
You can read the story if you want to know how to bid on it, Melissa. If you have 82
I'm
grand
just
that you want
curious
to.
why the church wouldn't bid on it. Like, there's not that many
Oh,
first editions, right?
the Utah State Library has 2 copies, 2
Mhm.
original. So there's and the church has first editions. You can actually go to the church history library in Salt Lake and see a first edition Book of Mormon under the glass. You can go look at it.
Mhm. Okay,
So
cool.
yeah, they're rare, but not that rare.
Okay. All right, Matt, BYU is number 1 again.
Uh
BYU is
oh,
number 1 again.
in NICMO, number 1 in NICMO.
Nick Mo, no, stone cold sober.
Oh,
You know, they put out this list every year of the colleges and how they rank, and BYU is always the most stone cold sober school, and they are again this year. But I think more interesting is some of the other places they ranked. Are you ready?
Liberty College.
Nope. No.
Oh,
Number 1 for best library.
oh,
BYU, best library of all the colleges in,
that
yeah,
cannot
they
be.
ranked number 1.
Like
Yeah.
the best library facilities. Like it's a nice looking library, but they don't have a great collection of stuff.
Apparently they do. Number 1 for
Okay,
best library.
okay, all right.
Number 4 for most religious students. We only got
Number
number
4.
4. Only number 4.
I wish
Guess what
BYU
else?
Idaho could be ranked. We would be number 1, I'm sure.
Yeah. Guess what else we got number 4 for?
Hmm.
LGBTQ unfriendly.
Well, at least we're not number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 5 for best run colleges. But
Uh,
that's based on student response. That one is.
how would a student even know?
The student responds to the statement, "My school runs smoothly."
That's
Ranked
just
number
like
5.
that's just member of our church happy-go-lucky bias about everything, right? It's so
Yeah, I think
smooth.
so.
I
I
stand
think
in line
so.
for hours to buy my textbook, and that's just the way it is everywhere. It's so great.
Anyways, BYU, it's great to see you making strides over there in those important fronts. Number 18 on best food.
Well, it's too bad because if they were rating the mint chocolate brownies, BYU would be number 1.
Maybe.
Yeah. There's a story out in the Tribune that says that a watchdog group alleges the LDS Church may owe the IRS $90 million. They think that there's evidence of tax evasion.
Oh,
And I
that's a
mean,
big deal.
yeah, it's the Widow's Mite report that they're,
Okay. Okay. Um,
let's see,
so what did
it's
they
about
do?
Ensign
They
Peaks investing and the way they defer tax and it's the way they use publicly traded partnerships. Um,
and they
yeah,
say they owe the church owes $90 million, huh?
if you report somebody if you're a watchdog, right, and you do some whistleblower thing and you say this person's not paying their taxes and the
Uh-huh.
IRS agrees with you and recovers money in taxes from them, you get a percentage of what the IRS recovers. So there's a strong incentive for a whistleblower to pay attention to the church and say that we're not paying our taxes because then you get a chunk of that money.
Matt, this was such an interesting take on this story. How do
Yeah.
you know that?
I don't know. I thought it was common knowledge,
It's
but
just
yeah.
a thing? Huh.
Yeah.
Are you sure you're not trying to whistleblow? Is this what you do as your side gig? Is run taxes and whistleblow and generate income?
That's
Because
right.
I'm not saying it's bad.
I
I'm very curious about
I
this.
scrape financials off of websites and look for tax evasion. I
Interesting.
aim mostly for small business owners so I can put them out of business and make 50
Okay.
bucks here and there.
Okay. You do this in addition to the Google reviews that you're very well known for.
I give them a positive review to generate revenue for them so that when I
Mhm.
take everything from them, I feel better about it.
Perfect. Okay, this week was Education Week, and you've heard of
Oh,
the Education Week,
I
yeah?
love Education Week. Yeah,
I
it's one
know.
of my favorite things.
Yeah. It was at BYU Provo. Garrett Gong was the keynote speaker. And do you want to know what he said? He said it out
Hmm.
loud. He said the quiet part out loud, Matt. He said, "Quit using AI to write your church talks."
This now we know who's behind this pilot program of 1 Hour Church. He travels
It's
the world,
mhm.
hears AI generated talks. He's like, I know the AI tools because Elder Gong actually speaks a lot about AI stuff. He's
Uh-huh.
like, I know their language. And he's like, I just keep hearing this. You know what? Fine. No more talks. If all you're going to use AI to give your talks, we're done.
Yeah. Yeah, we've targeted that. Yeah, he said, listen, there's some great things about AI, but it does not replace the spirit. He also talked a little bit about how AI will not become God. It will not become God-like. Matt, I think what he was trying to say, and he was using, more apostle type terms. I think he was saying we are not living in a sim. Okay.
Oh, no. But it's good. There are people that need to hear that message. There are
Yeah.
definitely people that wonder about that.
This is not God. This is not the simulation. He said the church is using AI a lot for translation for language
Yeah.
stuff. So
Yeah.
that's kind of
It's
cool.
great at that.
Yeah. In a related story, the church has made a lot of money since 2020 in their AI investments. So
Are they the language tools? The investment in
um,
the language tools?
it's just what they've invested in. So
AI companies.
according to this story, it's in the Salt Lake Tribune. The church stock portfolio has reached a record high, and the portfolio has doubled since 2020.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
I should have used them to pick the stocks that I put in my 401k because the
I
ones I chose
know.
in my Roth IRA are not doing so good.
Okay, I'll tell you the magnificent seven that they invest in because it's
Okay.
listed right here. So if you need to change your portfolio, you can
Well,
quickly.
I mean, they're really expensive now, right?
It's
I
the
should
big
have done, but
seven. Yeah.
uh-huh.
Apple, Amazon,
Uh-huh.
Meta,
Uh-huh.
Google, Microsoft, Tesla, and their big AI one is NVIDIA. That's the one that's made them
Nvidia.
lots of money. So, yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't hear Netflix on that list.
I'm sorry. No,
And did you hear, Melissa, that Angel Studios is going public soon? You can
I
buy
didn't.
shares. Yeah, you can buy shares now in Angel Studios. They're going to go public, and they keep sending me emails about how they're bigger than what Netflix was when it went public, and so we should
Okay. Are
invest
they
in
the
them.
ones who make the movies or are they the ones who
Yeah,
do VidAngel or is it the same company?
I'm not sure if they've split off or not, but I do know that Angel Studios does those movies,
Uh huh.
and I think that Tim Ballard movie made them a lot of money.
They've had a
But
lot of movies in theaters though recently, like a
yeah,
lot.
but I don't think any of them financially were as profitable as the what is it? Sound of Fury, Sound of Freedom,
Sound
Sound
of
of whatever.
Freedom. Yeah. Uh
Yeah.
huh. Okay.
But I think that VidAngel might be a part of it as well because they talk about the number of subscribers they have, but Angel Studios has its own streaming app where you can just stream Angel Studios content. So I don't know if it's
Oh,
VidAngel. I think it's just Angel Studios content.
while you tell us the next story, I'm just going to hurry and invest in it before
Yeah.
all of our listeners get onto it. And yeah,
Or if the
I don't
church
think I actually am, but
if the church could just tell us if they're going to, that would really help me.
exactly. Yeah, you're right.
So when I was young, we would go to Temple Square. There was the Plaza Hotel there. And
Yeah.
I always thought of the Plaza Hotel in New York City. I was like, wow, we've got this gem of a hotel. It's so amazing. We, of course, can't afford to stay there because it's the Plaza. Well, they're tearing the Plaza down. It's owned by the church. They're tearing it down. They're going to create a parking lot for
Oh.
the open house of the Salt Lake City Temple in 2 years.
Oh, and then maybe they'll build something else there because it's some great real estate right there next to Temple Square.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe they've got bigger plans that they're not releasing yet. It does seem like tearing down a hotel to make it's going to be free parking, I imagine, for the
Paved
visitors.
paradise, put up a parking lot.
I don't know if it's
Um,
quite that. I don't know if there's any way in which that was paradise, but they
it's been
tore
pretty
down.
old for a long time, yeah.
Yeah. I imagine there's going to be something else in the works, but for now, it's going to be a parking lot. So it'll be so much easier to park and go to the open house of the Salt Lake Temple. If you're
Yeah.
making your plans 2 years from now, just know
Yeah,
more parking options.
we've got you covered.
Okay, the next story is Jackson Dart. Do you know him?
Nope, never heard of Jackson Dart.
Jackson Dart grew up in Roy, was in Kaysville, then he went to the really good football program in Draper, and then
Uh-huh.
he was recruited by BYU, went to USC for a little while, then he went to Ole Miss and was an incredible quarterback last year, and now he's the
Okay.
rookie quarterback for the New York Giants.
Oh,
Uh, he is doing really, really well in preseason. There's a lot of chatter about Jackson Dart. I mention it because I like to promote all members of our church who are doing great things, and because
yeah.
Russell Wilson's going to end up losing his job to him, and I know you like Russell
I
Wilson.
love Russell Wilson, but it's time for Russell Wilson to retire, probably. He's probably okay with it.
Jackson Dart agrees with you. I'm not sure Russell Wilson does, but Jackson Dart, he's ready to go. So some predict he'll be the starting quarterback for the New York Giants by October, which will be
Really?
fun. So we
Yeah.
have 2 members of our church that are head coaches in the NFL, and
Okay.
then we'll have a quarterback in the NFL.
Well, we'll have more than one quarterback.
Starting quarterback.
Okay, starting
Yeah.
quarterback.
Taysom Hill is still in the NFL. I don't know if he's a
Yeah.
starting quarterback.
And so is
Zach Wilson,
yes.
also a backup quarterback. But
Yeah.
yeah, we'll
Yeah.
have, yeah, good for us. Like we're way
Yeah.
overrepresented in the football world compared to our population in the nation.
Cool. I'll keep my
Hey,
eye out.
it's now time for Big Deal, Little Deal.
Big deal. I remember your
That's
obnoxious song.
yeah. Okay.
Okay. I'm ready. I'm ready for big deal, little deal, no deal.
You know, I love myself a good dill pickle. So sometimes I like to say big dill, little
I
dill.
know. I know.
They're so tasty. When we went to, this is a side story. When we
Okay.
were in Montreal, no, we were in Quebec City. They have a dish in Canada called poutine. Have you ever heard of poutine?
It's like the fries with the gravy on it.
Yeah. Fries with brown gravy and cheese curds, the squeaky
Oh,
cheese.
yeah. It
Yeah.
sounds so disgusting.
Yeah.
Did
So
you try it?
Sandra had never had it before. So I was like, we're going to go to, it's called Poutineville. It's like, okay, they have all the
Okay.
different kinds of poutine you could ever want. They had like an
Okay.
Indian version, they had a Chinese version. And so Sandra got what was called the Montreal, and it had the potatoes and it had the gravy, or they call it poutine sauce. And then it had a Swiss cheese on it. And then on the
Uh-huh.
very top of it, a deep fried dill pickle. Yeah, I
Did
know.
she like it?
It was so good. It was
Really?
so tasty. Yeah.
But
My,
what about the texture? Don't the fries get not crispy?
So you got to eat it fresh. Like if you save
Okay.
it, then they get kind of soggy and yucky. But when it's fresh and the fries are crispy with that gravy and cheese, oh man. I got the original. It had hot dogs in it and it had some other kinds of meat in it too. It was good. I like the squeaky sensation a little bit sometimes when you're
Okay.
eating. Yeah. Anyhow,
Where did the tangent come from? Just a fun story?
dill. I was thinking about
Oh,
dill.
dill. That's it.
Deep
That's it.
fried
Okay.
dill pickles.
Dill.
Think of that when
Big
I
dill.
say big
Big
deal,
dill.
little deal, no dill.
Okay.
Here's the headline: No unwanted marriages in heaven. Is this really what the church's new essay on plural marriage says? Big deal, little deal, no deal. 3, 2, 1. I no deal.
Little
Like
deal.
I first was like no deal, but when I was talking about this with my wife, she said it's a big deal,
A lot
and
of people are talking about it.
it doesn't make any. I don't. She was saying that it's important that they're clarifying that you don't have to be married in heaven to somebody you don't want to be married to. I thought we already knew that, but
I,
she was saying it's good they have it in an essay.
I feel like people who have made peace with polygamy, they're not caring about this or talking about this. But I do feel like it
Right.
circles around every generation where people are like, hold up a minute. What do we believe about this? And especially because it's come up in Sunday school in, this year.
Oh,
Yeah. Is that what the plural marriage essay says? Does it say there's no unwanted marriages in heaven? Does it say plural marriage is a what am I trying to say? A doctrine?
we talked about this 2 weeks ago when we read this whole letter.
No,
The
we
whole thing
didn't.
from
We
we
just
read the
talked about that it had come out. We
yeah.
did, yeah. But here's the thing. I don't I don't think polygamy is an eternal concept of belief in our church.
Here's what no, I 100% agree. Here's what it says
Okay.
in the letter from and it's from
Okay.
the handbook. God will not force anyone to enter or remain in a marriage relationship he or she does not want. Like
Yeah.
that's in the handbook, that's doctrine and
Yeah.
kind of not even related to polygamy. Like, is
Sure,
there
that makes
anyone
sense.
out there that honestly believes that I don't know, between 60 and 100 women that are sealed to Brigham Young, that all of them have to live with him forever, even if they don't want to? Like, come on. I don't think we've
Yeah.
ever thought that.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
I sort of say no deal.
Yeah. I agree. No, I think people have gotten up in arms in this, and so that's I think it's I think it's something that people are talking about. It's not something that I'm concerned about, I guess is how I would say it.
I'm actually just concerned that my wife will decide she doesn't want to be with me after we're
Mm,
gone, and I'll be like, "Wait a
mhm.
minute, I was good to
Mhm.
you." No,
Yeah. Were you though? Were you?
based on the conversation we had when we were running this morning, probably not. At one point, I was like, "Honey, I'm going to just be silent for a little while. I'm not upset. I just am afraid to talk. I don't know. I don't want. I'm not good with emotions. I know that on that chart of faces, your face is not the smiley one anymore, and that's what I want it to be. And I'm afraid anything I say is going to keep you from getting back to smiley. So I'm just going to be quiet for a little bit."
That's great, Matt. That's
That's
great.
celestial kingdom for everybody. That's what everybody's hoping for.
All right, here's your next story, okay?
Hmm.
Why is the term stripling warriors
Oh.
trending on X?
Oh, I don't know.
Big deal? Little deal? No deal? Three, two, one.
Big deal.
Little deal.
No, stripling. Imagine you don't know the Book of Mormon and you're like,
Yeah.
hashtag stripling warriors. What do you think that is? That's a big deal.
Apparently, "Hey Grok, what are the stripling warriors?" has been one of the top 5 searches on
Uh,
X. And do
I
you wanna
love
know
it.
why?
Huh.
Another sports hero, Bryce Harper.
Oh,
Bryce
yeah.
Harper was photographed wearing a T-shirt that said, "Stripling Warriors, Mama's Boys." Have
I
you seen
love
those
that shirt.
T-shirts?
Yeah, I used to have one.
Yeah, he was just walking into a Phillies game wearing that shirt, and everybody was like, "What now, Bryce? What are we talking about?"
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's
That
got,
is
like, all the
such a
big
big
muscly
deal.
dudes, and
Yeah.
so then everybody was like, "Wait, Stripling Warriors?" And everybody started asking what that is.
I
That's pretty
love it.
cool, right?
That's a big deal, Melissa. That's really
Yeah,
cool.
that's pretty cool, yeah.
Okay, so I have two on mine. One is about the Sunstone Conference. The Sunstone
Okay.
Conference shows there's more than one way to Mormon, and
Wait,
Utahns,
there's more than one way to Mormon. Okay.
more than one way to Mormon.
Okay.
That's what the Sunstone Conference shows you. And the other one is Utahns pound pumpkin spice lattes amid shifting Mormon norms. Is
Oh,
this
I
a
see. So they're kind of related headlines. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's about what we would call fringe members of our church. I don't know if fringe is diversity in the church, diversity in the ways people are practicing our faith. Okay. Big deal, little deal, no deal. Three, two, one. Big deal.
Little deal?
Big deal, Melissa.
I decided I was gonna call everything little deal today and see if you noticed.
So first of all, when I was a kid, I remember Sunstone as being this really bad thing.
Okay.
Sunstone Magazine is where you went if you wanted to leave the church. Now, I don't know if it
Okay.
was really that way for all of you people who like Sunstone. That was just my perception as a child.
Okay.
And I like that they're still around. I like that they have a conference so that like-minded members of the church can gather because
Mhm.
sometimes it feels like you're all alone in the church. So I'm happy about that. The pumpkin spice lattes and the shifting Mormon norms, I'm not so happy about that. And so that's why it's a big deal because people shouldn't. I
Go
couldn't
on.
finish
Go
saying
finish your sentence.
it. Should people drink pumpkin spice lattes? I'm going to say no, they shouldn't drink pumpkin spice lattes.
Okay.
And so I wouldn't call this shifting Mormon norms. This is just people doing things, right? That like is there any church congregation I could go into with a pumpkin spice latte and people would be like, that's just how things are done today. No, you would get glares and glances in church from
Oh,
everyone
you
if
mean
you
if you
walked in.
carried in your Starbucks cup, carried
Yeah,
in a pumpkin spice latte
to
into your
sacrament meeting.
congregation?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I
So I
see.
don't think it's actually shifting Mormon norms. It's just people are are more comfortable. They don't feel like they have to hide it. But it doesn't mean that the
Yeah.
norms are shifting.
Oh, it's not that more people are doing it. It's just that they're not hiding that they're doing it. Is that what you're saying?
Right. That
Oh.
that there's now in Rexburg there's a Dutch Brothers shop, there's a June's coffee shop and there's a Starbucks shop and they're
Mhm.
all busy all the time.
Mhm.
That's not a reflection of the fact that the members of the church are more okay with people drinking coffee. That's just a reflection of the fact that people who have always been drinking coffee now have places to do it more conveniently than they did in the past. But they're not
I
drinking more
disagree.
coffee now.
Yeah, LDS people are drinking more coffee now. Absolutely, they are.
Oh,
Yes. I can't tell you how many invitations I've gotten to temple weddings, and I go to the registry and there's a coffee maker on the registry.
what?
Mhm.
You can't
Like
get married in the
3
temple if
times in
you're
the last
drinking.
year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
I
maybe we need to be more clear in the temple recommend questions.
Well, the temple recommend questions, what did they say? Do you follow the word of wisdom, right?
I mean, I always had to say abstain from coffee, tea, tobacco, and
I don't think it says that
coffee, tea,
anymore.
tobacco, alcohol, and harmful drugs.
Why don't you Google it and see what it says? Because I think it says, do you follow the word of wisdom? I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
We only have to go once every 2 years. How am I supposed to remember exactly what it says?
Well, maybe that's the problem, right? Okay, let's see what it
Or
says.
maybe it's not a problem. Maybe it doesn't say that specifically, so people are allowed to interpret it.
Hold on, I've got it right here.
Okay.
Sabbath day, um, tithing. Oh, do you understand and obey the word of wisdom?
Yeah, that's the question. That's the
First of all,
question.
that's a double-barreled question. Like from as a survey research perspective, you're answering two questions with one answer.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Ah, wow. Okay,
So
so
that it
people can say,
doesn't say
"I
that.
understand."
Yeah,
Wow.
and I follow it,
Okay.
and that's how they follow it. There's plenty of people who say the word of wisdom, I've read it in Doctrine and Covenants section 89, it doesn't have the word coffee in it. It says hot drinks. Do I drink hot cocoa? Like, and I mean,
Yeah,
like,
but it's so clear that it's coffee.
when's the last time we had that preached at a general conference? I bet it
Uh,
was 15 years. I bet it's been 15 years since that's been said at the pulpit of general
I see.
conference.
But there was a new era story. Well, even saying new era is
But
old
even
school.
that was at least 10 years ago, and that was about energy drinks. And it was like, it's not a good idea, but it wasn't like it's against the word of wisdom. It was like, be careful for this stuff.
Huh. Okay. Well, that's interesting to me.
Okay.
All
All
right, I'm
right.
not going to spend any time reading the handbook to find out because it doesn't matter in my primary teaching lessons. It matters not at all.
Okay. Since you mentioned the Sunstone Conference, though, I did want to give a shout out to Faith Matters. Faith Matters is putting on a conference at the end of September. I think registration's going on now. They put on such a great conference every year with really, really good speakers who speak to people who might feel like they're on the fringes, but also people who are not on the fringes. It's very faith affirming. So I'd like to shout them out and say register for that if you're interested. And now for my headline.
Okay.
The headline says Mormon women, but I'm going to insert and men. Okay.
Okay. Good.
Mormon women and men can now wear new sacred undergarments. And some wonder, why now? Before you say big deal or little deal or no deal, this is about the new garments, and it's been discussed on this podcast a lot. But I want you to know that this article is from NPR.
Oh, all
Okay.
things considered?
Yeah, all things considered.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So
that shapes
Mormon
what I
women
think.
can now wear new sacred undergarments. Some wonder why now. Big deal, little deal, no deal. 3, 2, 1.
Big deal.
Big deal.
Big deal. If
Yeah.
it's on all things considered,
Yeah.
I don't know if Robert Siegel is still the host.
It's a huge deal. It's a
Mm-hmm.
huge deal. Yeah. So it's part of their podcast. And then, yeah, they put out a little article about it too. And it just talks about how, yeah, now women can wear tank tops and it's like a big, big change. Now, listen, Matt, men can wear tank tops too. I know the focus has been on women, but men can also show their shoulders now.
Oh
Okay. Just want you to
man.
know. All
Oh
right.
man.
Yeah, it's a big deal. NPR goes a lot into what the garments are, why it's a religious covering, why how it's a showing of our commitment to our covenants. Like they do a really good job explaining what the garment is and why women have been frustrated with it and how it used to be taught as a matter of modesty, but that's not what's being taught anymore. And it's actually a really, really good article slash podcast.
No, it's a radio program, right? All things
Well, it's
considered.
part of their radio program, and then they put out an article that just
Oh,
was,
okay.
like, promoting yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey, I love NPR. They do a good
I
job
know.
with almost every single news story they do, so this doesn't surprise me. The the garment question is not interesting to me. because I still wear the ones that go to my ankles.
Okay, Matt. Okay.
I don't believe
You
in
know where
showing
you
my
should work?
shins.
BYU, Idaho. That's where you should work. That's the kind of member of the church you are.
I'm the
Matt,
type that'll wear the shorter garments, but I'll still wear sleeve length shirts that go all
that's
the way to
right.
my wrists and a
Yeah.
tie.
Yeah, no, I think it is a big deal, especially for women, because whether or not you are excited to show your shoulders, it's not about being excited to show your shoulders. It's about feeling like women are finally being listened to in the church. I think that's what the new garments are about. Women are like, we have been saying forever and ever, these garments do not work for us, but we want to wear them. We want to honor our covenants, but the way that they're designed don't function well for us. And I think that this is a sign that the church is listening to women. And I think that is the big story.
I like that.
Hmm.
They've been making they've been making other changes with the temple garment,
Yeah.
for like the last 10 years or so. If you're
Yeah.
a military, if you're in the military or police, they no longer have a special one that you have to
Hmm.
purchase. You can do
Yeah.
different options.
And these
So,
new garments aren't perfect. They're definitely going to have to continue to make changes. Like, uh, one of the biggest complaints is that if you're a size extra small, then the width of the sleeve is the sleeve on the garment. The width of that tank is a half an inch. But if you're a size large, it's 2 inches.
mhm.
So,
Well,
so some
everybody will
people
just
can.
buy extra small and they'll just wear really, really tight.
Yeah, no, the point is that they're made from a universal pattern instead of being made from an actual women's pattern. But so
Oh,
what I'm saying is people are saying changes will still have to be made, but we're so grateful that the church is listening to women. Yeah.
I like it, Melissa. Good job.
Okay. Hey,
Okay,
thanks.
let's do This Week in Mormon History.
Oh,
This
let's
is
do.
I know that our listeners have never written in to say how much they appreciate this. And
It's
and Kurt has
obvious.
never mentioned it, but I
Yeah,
feel
Kurt.
it. I
No,
feel it.
it's listen, every time we get to this week in Mormon history, my heart does a little flutter of excitement.
Well, given the topics we discussed this week, this first story is gonna make some people excited, I guess. I don't know. This was 80 years ago in August of 1945. Somebody wrote a letter. They said, "I am directed by President George Albert Smith to acknowledge the receipt of your letter of August 10th, in which you ask a number of questions. I am directed to say that as to the word of wisdom, the drinking of a beverage made from the coffee bean from which all caffeine and other deleterious drugs have been removed is not regarded as violating the word of wisdom."
Wait, what? In 1945, they said coffee isn't against the word of wisdom?
Decaf, basically, right? If the decaf coffee is
Oh.
fine.
Oh, okay. Okay,
And I
gotcha.
think that's sort of the beginnings, or this is sort of the time period where they were like, look, it's the caffeine in coffee that's bad. But
Mm,
then later on, other presidents of the church had different opinions as they said, no, coffee's wrong. It's not the caffeine. And so
okay.
just
I
so that
hope it's
everybody
not the
knows.
caffeine because I'm just finishing my 60th ounce of Diet Dr. Pepper for the day.
Well, we'll hope that that's not what it is. So 80 years ago, somebody was told from the president of the church that they could drink decaf coffee and not violate the word of wisdom.
Okay.
We
I
should
like
dig
the word deleterious drugs. That was quite entertaining.
we should dig them up and say, "Do you understand and obey the word of
Mhm.
wisdom?"
Mhm. Mhm.
75 years ago, again 1950, George Albert Smith, he says, "In Honolulu, in the afternoon, by prearrangement, Joseph F. Smith, former patriarch to the church, came to the Woolley home, and he and I stayed up in my room and had a long talk together concerning many things, particularly with reference to his problems, referencing homosexuality." So,
I don't understand the story.
so this is George Albert Smith writes this in his diary that he's in Hawaii visiting with Joseph F. Smith, the former patriarch to the church, and he and Joseph F. Smith stay up late into the night talking about his problems with homosexuality.
But is he saying that he was a homosexual? Or
It's
that
in
he has problems with people being a
No,
homosexual?
I
I'm
think it's
confused.
it's unclear from the journal entry as well, but I think that the
Oh,
implication is that the person he was talking to was gay. But the reason I bring
okay.
this up is because this is 75 years ago.
Yeah.
Because this is something we're still arguing, fighting with, struggling with today, right? But I think that it's interesting that a lot of people tell me that this LGBTQ stuff started in the 60s, started with the liberal kind of crazy whatever Woodstock generation. And I just like that this shows that no, these problems, these questions about same-sex attraction go all the way back, at least to 1950.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, yeah, I think generationally we used to talk about it differently. I don't think we look at it as a problem in the sense that we don't look at it as a sin. I think we look at it as a problem in that we don't know how to deal with it in terms of eternal families and temple
Yeah,
ceilings.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We don't, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, 190 years ago, August of 1835, the church held its general conference. Though Joseph Smith and Frederick G. Williams were absent, the church body unanimously adopts and canonizes the Doctrine and Covenants. So that has
Oh,
been canonized scripture for 150 years, 190 years this week.
where was Joseph Smith at?
Sometimes the president and his first counselor can't always make it to general conference.
And they're like, "Hey, while you're there, will
we
you canonize the Doctrine and Covenants? Make sure you get that on the agenda." That's awesome.
Hey, everybody, we would like to invite you to check out the YouTube channel of This Week in Mormons. Sometimes listening to us isn't enough. You want to see us, and you'll be so happy you did if you check us out on YouTube.
Yeah.
I also like to plug my podcast, The Latter-day Lens. Me and my friend Sean, we talk about religion and politics and all that stuff. We have new episodes every Wednesday. You can check us out on there. You can email us. Chris did.
Please do. Yeah.
Contact at thisweekinmormons.com. If you have something interesting to say, we'll read it. If you have something nice to say about Melissa, we'll also read it,
Yep, we
but
will.
with a little bit less enthusiasm. Thanks for listening to the original Mormon/Latter-day Saint news podcast, the ever imitated, never duplicated, original Mormon news podcast. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you again in a couple weeks.